and he created his own Facebook group that I joined. And I've just watched him, like, there's so many similarities I see with him and me, and he feels the same way. And we've connected a couple times, and then not for a long time have we had any one-on-one communication, but the other day he reached out and said, like, I'm really struggling, this, that, and the other. And I felt really inspired to, at that point, I just like soothed him. I was like, the best thing you can do right now is just go to sleep. Because it was already really late for him. Let's just go to sleep. Everything is well. All is well. Just go to sleep. And then I told him I'd give him a call in the morning. I felt really inspired to call him and just do a couple little these little NLP techniques on him to like spin around the feelings to something better so he can get a new perspective on it. And we did that the next morning, and it was really fun. And we had a little conversation too. And then the thought came in on like, ooh, he'd be really good to, initially my thought was like, oh, I could do this vibes up thing with him, or maybe it's with him and his group, and maybe I have my own over here. And like, and then like afterwards, you know, I kind of almost told myself to pump the brakes again. Because I, in a way, I'm a little cautious of like, it's like, what is with this tendency I have to want to turn something into a business right away? And like, I think that's one thing that has bunged me up in the past. And so I almost want to be mindful of like, what's the best way to approach it when an idea does pop into my head of like, ooh, this could be fun. He and I could do it together for his group. And he's been having some fits and starts with trying to get his own kind of coaching business going in a way. And I've seen him kind of go, and then he goes, you know, it doesn't really get him anywhere. And I'm thinking, you know, together we could do something fabulous. And I mentioned something to him like, ooh, you gave me a really good idea, and I'm excited to tell you about it. But I mentioned something, I don't want to actually talk about what it is until it's a strong yes for me. And he was totally cool with it. But where's my question in that? Am I doing it right to just, the seed is out there in my mind, and just not try to chew on it or mold it or make it into something, or try to attract thoughts on it specifically. Let it just be. And if a new thought comes, it takes it to the next step, just act on it then.
We believe this would be a perfect example of your writing idea.
Okay.
Write down the seed. Write down the development of the seed as it comes to you, as it's juicy. Continue to write as long as it's juicy. By the end of the writing, you will know, is this something whose juice has run out? Is this something that has legs, as they say? Is this something, have I developed this idea to the point where I'm ready to bring in so-and-so, or call such and such, or do X, Y, and Z?
Yeah.
It will lead you directly to your next action step, or it will make itself plain that it was simply a fun idea that is not something that's you're interested in pursuing right now. You will have the benefit of having also put it out into the universe very powerfully. Even if you let it go and put it back in the drawer, it may come back a year or 2 years in full formation without you having done nothing.
Okay. Yeah. And as you're talking about that, one of the things is like, on this writing exercise, just, I mean, I'm answering my own question, but because I think what trips me up, of course, and for anybody, is the how. Like when I try to think of the how, right? Like I get this juicy part, and it's like, well, how would that work? Or like, you know, who would do the numbers? Who would do the, you know, how would we manage the people coming in and out? How would we use this app or this app for billing or whatever? Like, so just leave that stuff out of it and just focus on the fun, juicy part of like.
If you are choosing the juiciest idea as they come to you, you will never touch upon the how.
Yeah.
It will only be who and what
Yeah.
and why and how it feels. It will have nothing to do with who did what app or who held their tongue just right.
Yeah. 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 Okay.